reindustrialise France using green technology. This will mean more electric cars, more hydrogen fuel and more efficient nuclear plants. Well, it's all part of a broader initiative called France 2030. The President said that France is 15 to 20 years behind some of its neighbours, and it's high time that France became a nation of innovation and research once again.
Nous avons assisté à une extraordinaire accélération de l'innovation. S'il n'y a pas d'industrie, si on ne réindustrialise pas le pays, il n'est pas vrai qu'on pourra redevenir une grande nation d'innovation et même de recherche.
The French President speaking there. Well, I'm joined now by our French politics editor, Mark Perelman. Hi there, Mark. Let's start by talking about the timing of this announcement. We are, of course, 6 months away from presidential elections in France, but 1 month away from the COP26 in Glasgow.
Yes, obviously, this is billed as France 2030, but in many people's head, it's France 2022, the next presidential election. Clearly, the French president wanted to lay out a broad perspective, looking at the future, where we should invest, how we should invest. But clearly, he also wants to show the French people that we're finally turning the corner from COVID, because a year ago, he had also announced such a massive investment plan, but this was thwarted by further waves of COVID. He hopes that this time this will be indeed time to rebound. He had good figures for the economy, 6% growth expected in 2022. So he's encouraged to show that he is going to reform to the very end of his presidency. He was elected as a transformative president, someone who would really reform in depth France. This couldn't happen, at least not enough in his eyes. So he wants to send the message that he's there to reform, regardless of the election coming up. But clearly he has this on his mind.
And I'm just wondering how you think this is going to go down with the French public. I mean, how important an issue are the issues he's unveiled in their minds?
Well, in their minds, the problem they see today, really today, is the record high price of the petrol. When they go to the gas station, this is what they're going to see. And so the issue of the purchasing power is going to be front and center. And there is a danger for Emmanuel Macron having those nice technocratic presentations like the one we witnessed today could alienate him with the French people, just like happened with the Yellow Vest movement. They were worried about salaries. They were worried about would they be able to feed their children, bring them to school. And so, yes, Emmanuel Macron is talking about a bright future for the elite, for the industry and so on, but he can be accused, and he's going to be accused by the opposition, of not caring enough for the everyday French people, and so there is a danger for him. He's well ahead in the polls, but we're 6 months away. A lot can change.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much indeed for that. Our French politics editor, Mark Perelman. Thank you very much indeed. Well, that leads us very neatly into our business segment, for which I'm joined by Yuka Royer. Yuka, welcome to you. Clearly, a very important business dimension to this €30 billion investment plan, all about really making the energy sector a bit greener.
Well, as Mark just mentioned, President Emmanuel Macron's pitch is to make France more competitive, but also more independent. And for that, he called for the development of newer, more efficient nuclear power plants. France is not the only country looking into newer generation, very small atomic reactors called SMRs. While they are promising, opposition and voices of concern are also strong. France 24's Luke Schrager takes a closer look.
Reclaiming France's crown as a global leader in innovation. That's Emmanuel Macron's aim for a 5-year, €30 billion investment plan, including a serious update of its energy sector.
We must prepare ourselves for breakthrough technologies and profound transformations in nuclear power, the promise of what are called small modular reactors. We must open up the game in a totally new way, and we're ready to invest €1 billion between now and 2030.
This is the world's only small modular reactor, or SMR to date, an experimental floating plant Russia commissioned over the last decade and that's been operating since 2019. However, China too is planning its own SMR, and France, reliant on nuclear power for 70% of its energy, hopes newer, smaller designs will open up new horizons. Its traditional EPR reactors may produce more power, but they're incredibly expensive to build, with many such plants seeing cost overruns while in development and construction. The SMRs, though, can be mass-produced, and their modular design makes them safer too, with improved waste management. A huge concern for nuclear power skeptics, which see atomic energy as dangerous at worst and a necessary evil at best, given concerns over the climate crisis. While some nations, like Germany, turned their back on nuclear power in the aftermath of the Fukushima disaster a decade ago, the European Union agreed 2 years ago it could be part of decarbonising its economy in the decades ahead and ultimately reaching net zero emissions.